Hello everybody, welcome to Wombat Radio. Today we're in Kochi at the Biennale at Cabral Yards, and I'm sitting with the incredible artist of Edible Archives. Hello.
Hi, I'm Anu Mitra. I'm a chef.
Yes.
This is my project called Edible Archives. What is your first question?
I guess my first question is, what is it for the people who can't make it here?
Yeah.
How would you describe what's going on?
Can you tell me what is your second and third question so I'm not repeating anything?
Yes. My first question is, what is it? And then my
Yes.
second question is, how are you doing the art?
Okay.
And then my third question is, why are you? Like, what's your biggest hope?
Okay. So Edible Archive is basically it's a project where we are me and Shalini, both of us was traveling all over India to collect indigenous rice which is not commercially available. So all this rice, each of them have stories and they are not commercially available in the market. They are mostly grown by farmers for small consumption, like either their own consumption or they only sell it locally, and in cities it never reaches.
Okay.
So the whole idea was that I'm coming from a very formalized kitchen, but what I wanted to do that I know about these rices because of my travel and all that. So the idea about Edible Archive is that all of us have our Edible Archive in our head and in our body. So my project is about that I have this Edible Archive of this indigenous varieties of rice, and I am here to do a collective Edible Archive where everyone is eating, and through eating it is becoming part of their Edible Archive. So the rice, say you had today,
Yes.
it's called Hetumari.
Hetumari.
Hetumari is from Bengal,
Yes.
and
And how far away is Bengal?
it's quite far actually. Like I can tell you only in terms of time.
Yeah.
Like if you want to fly from Kochi to Calcutta, it takes about 5-6 hours.
Wow.
So also carrying all this rice was a challenge. So we had to really work hard to find out how we are going to carry them. The Edible Archive, through Edible Archive, what we are doing is that we have got all this rice. Like I have experimented with 24 varieties of rice till now, and it will be like about 30 or 35 by the end of Biennale.
Wow. And so there are some that you experimented with that never made it.
No, like I went to the villages, I saw how the farmers, because sometimes the knowledge around the grain get lost before the grain get lost. Like if the grain is endangered, the knowledge around it is also endangered. So we stayed with farmers. I also stayed with the older generation of people from the community, and I learned from them how do they use it, how they make it, because rice is not only you are boiling in water, it depends on when is the harvest, when the harvest. So I have all the data about when each variety of rice has been harvested, whatever I'm using. And then how much water you need to use, does it need soaking or not. So all these things we have done before. And now we are also, another part of the project is also that how people eat in India. Now in India means it can be from east, like from northeast where Nagaland, Manipur, or in Delhi, UP in the north, or in the west in Gujarat, or in south in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So how people eat, how and what people eat at home.
Okay.
So we are combining. So we make a menu where we decide that today I'm going to cook, say, this 4 items. One maybe, like today's meal had one item, the mirchi ka salan, which is the chilies. That is from Hyderabad. This dish is from Hyderabad, from Andhra Pradesh. The yam is from Kerala, the yam dish. and the pineapple and the raw papaya curry. It's a mix of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. It's like both the places you get this kind of dish. So all these three things with papad, and the rice is from Bengal. So this kind
Wow.
of experiments
Yeah.
we're doing. So this is what is Edible Archive.
Amazing. How did you find the farmers to stay with?
So first I because I'm working with as a chef. Can we just?
Oh yeah, we can pause.
I have to take a break for
it's okay.
two.
Alright, welcome back.
Thank
You had to cook for somebody?
Yes.
So you're a chef,
Yes.
but do you also say that you're an artist?
Yes, because I think we also have some social responsibility, plus basically what happens with your food a lot of the times when we are especially in our urban kind of a field, we also lose the connect with your body and what you are eating, because we are so mind heavy in our work and in our thinking. So I think then sometimes chefs need to also put some effort to make people conscious about their everyday, because food is something it comes to you and it goes. So there is
It's
no
true.
so but actually also food is something where the memory and the the connect, you also something you don't forget all the time, because there is some kind of cataloging which happens in our own brain, where so if you have a meal which you like, then you can connect, you can find in your memory after maybe 10 years you suddenly eat something else and you say, oh, I had that meal somewhere there and I remember. So this is already there, and so as a chef we also have we are connecting these things, how we put things together, and the stories when it comes to you, you consume, but it has an entry in your edible archive. So I think as an my thing here in Binale is that you eat the meal, you know the story little bit, because in our menu the first line every day is what is the rice of the day. So you, even if you don't pay that much attention, but you eat the rice, and if it has some kind of entry in your edible archive, and then you can recollect your memory and you remember the name. So somehow all these varieties of rice which are endangered, that is becoming part of the people, the consumer who are coming here, and they're part of their edible archive. So I think that is the major role that and as a chef I can play in how your memory and your history is formed.
Yeah, it's even, I wonder how, when you look out and you see Westerners and they're eating with their hands, are they doing it wrong? Do they sometimes have the bad technique for eating?
Yeah. But that's also part of our thing, that why we wanted to give, we are not giving cutlery. It's a conscious choice, because how we eat, it's also here if we eat with your hand, you actually little bit you have to do mixing, where when you are doing it with your hands, then unconsciously there is some kind of mashing which happens. When you eat it with a spoon, it doesn't happen in the same way. So and also if you see our bowl, that also we have made it with our it's a custom made bowl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In
the clay. Yeah. So also that has a connect, when you touch the bowl,
Yes.
it's also all these things comes together.
Yeah, I found it was easier to, I would get the temperature and then the flavor that I wanted, and then the bowl made it easier to bring it together so that I could scoop it up.
Also, I serve it in a way that whatever I'm giving, if I want the meal to be eaten in a certain way, I serve it in a way that even if you are not thinking, you will do the same. Like my intended mixing.
Ah, there's like a choreography. You're
Yeah.
also choreographing the plate.
Because sometimes we give two rice. See, if I'm giving two
I
rice,
think yesterday we had 2 rice. We've been here 3
Yeah.
days.
Okay.
We come for the different rice every day.
Yeah. So if you're having this rice and if you're having two rice, I give it in a way that which rice goes well with which curry. So it's on top of that. So even if you want, you can't actually like mix the whole thing with each other. This because there is already inbuilt things which are there.
And that's the artist
Yeah.
making the decisions for us.
Yes.
What was it like when you went to spend time with the farmers? Would you stay in their house with them?
Yes, mostly.
Okay.
Mostly.
And you would, like, how much work does it take to take care of some rice crop or to harvest it? Or
It's a huge kind of work. It's like unbelievable work. Sometimes I used to stay with farmers, not always. It depends on my relationship with them.
Yes.
So some farmers who I'm working for a long time, in the sense that some of them I know because of I've been working as a chef for like 8 years now. So I have some people that I know, and generally I was always interested in cooking with with ingredients which I'm directly I can get connection, like I know that who is doing what, instead of just you buy things which are from the supermarket, or that also I had to do. It's not that I was not doing that, but I also had an interest to get connected with my growers directly.
Yeah, well, it becomes a collaboration then.
Yeah,
where
I
you're part
also
of the
know
team.
about the like if they are doing the rice this year, they will tell me this year actually the smell is not the way we wanted it, but so I know all those details of from the farmers. So some of the farmers I have been working with are them who I know very well, and some of them are like I got connected while doing this work. So in both the cases, like sometimes I have stayed with them, sometimes I have stayed with in a local guest house or something, and
For
try to
2 days or for 1 week? Or?
it depends, because sometimes if I have good connection, I know that I can go and see the 10 varieties are there growing.
One farmer will grow
One or
different
two,
varieties?
it's like if you I never went to only one farmer, like you are going for a whole area. Maybe
yes.
I pick up one farmer or two farmers, but then I also interact with whoever is available.
How do the farmers choose what rice to grow?
A lot of the times it's not that they make a choice, it's the seeds they already have.
From
Or-
previous crops?
Yes, or the seed that they can exchange with their friends or fellow farmers nearby, because a lot of the times they don't have money to buy, and the money that they spend sometimes are the hybrid varieties that you have to buy, because hybrid varieties they are the crop that they sell, the hybrid variety, but they also need to buy the seeds, because a lot of the times this hybrid varieties rice you can't make the seed from the rice. You always have to depend
Buy
on
more seed,
yes. So it's also a very though people think it's easy to, the farmers are thinking that it's easy to sell because they already have a number of people who wants to buy it, because that has a demand in the market. So they are growing it, they are putting money in the seed and all that. But these rice that I am selling mostly, like in my food, they are mostly that they come in exchange or in the form of free seed. Basically this is also, people are talking about free seed, because that used to be the form of like farming till say till Green Revolution. Post Green Revolution, the seed market became more available, like in to the farmers. Before that, it was always like, there are also, like I went to this place in Orissa where there is a festival where old ladies from the community, they travel to village, they give seed, they collect seed, they sing songs.
Wow.
So these are rituals that they used to do.
And that's how the seed travels to different places.
Yes.
Wow. And does that happen anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But in very small places,
Okay.
like not in. The farmers also now quite disconnected with all these things, but some of the places which are remote and all that, it happens.
Okay.
So I've been to one of the places where I could see this.
Wow. And what was it like? How big was it? How many?
No, so this is like very small way. It's not a very big way. It's like say 3-4 people. They travel, go to not a long distance travel. It's like they are taking either they are walking to the next village, then they are walking to the next village after that, and maybe for 7 days, 10 days they do this. Sometimes also there have been now initiatives in Orissa. There is a rice seed bank.
Wow.
So they are also distributing this indigenous varieties of seed free of cost.
Is there a lot of rice export from India?
Yes.
And is that market demanding more standard rice?
Yes, that's mostly basmati.
So everyone just thinks Indian rice, basmati
rice.
Is basmati indigenous to a part of India?
It is like some seeds are indigenous, but not all the seeds. So basmati is actually not one particular thing.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
so it's like I'm sure there are 1 or 2 varieties. Like when I grew up, when I was a kid, I had a basmati called Dehradun basmati. Now it's not available. That's a variety which had the indigenous thing, and there are a couple of them, but a lot of them have now in the form of hybrid. It has come out in the market, and so those are actually much more popular than the indigenous, because the indigenous varieties of rice actually doesn't need pesticide, herbicide mostly, and mostly it's grown in like it has the domestication of that rice has been happened in a way where they don't need like a lot of underground water, like they don't need lot of irrigation.
Okay.
So but it also doesn't have any relation with the market. So
it has a relationship with the environment that it's growing in, but not with the market that you might want to sell it
That's
into.
why there is the demand also. The market will always not allow it to have to flourish, because it doesn't create any demand in the market. So you are actually not helping the herbicide or pesticide companies or the irrigation companies who is making the pump for you.
Yes. Wow. But you're helping everything else.
Yes,
because
the nature.
Rice, exactly.
And the people.
The rice is part of.
Yeah, some rice they sow it also like this, that they take the seed. I have literally seen that they throw it like this in a fertile land. That they first they take the tractors, and then when the land is ready, they throw it like this. So
wow, they just throw the seed out, and then rice can grow. Wow. Okay. Have you done projects like this in the past? Like, have you done other art projects?
No. This is my first project in Binale. Before that, I have worked like as a chef for a long time, and before that, I have also done research. Like I did my PhD in something else, in cognitive linguistics, but I have a research experience, so I know like how to do research.
Did you? So you learned to be a chef, and then you worked as a chef And you did a PhD in cognitive linguistics?
No, I worked first. I was a student in cognitive linguistics and linguistics, and while doing it, I got interested. Like I was always interested in food, so then I found a very good Japanese chef. So I first
In India?
in India. So then I worked, and actually all my learning was through work. It's not. I didn't do any culinary course.
So what have you done with your cognitive linguistics doctorate?
Nothing much, but I think it is like it's helping me in other ways, like also how to like the research, like how to focus, how to come up with a research question, like it's also like if you are learning one thing deep into, like that's a PhD is all about, that you go deep and deep into something, but that's also a mental training, that how you approach something.
And was that in what language was that?
In the sense,
In the doctorate, because you have to write it.
yeah, that's in English, like
Okay.
you write it in English, but I did a research where I was comparing some part of my mother tongue, which is Bengali, with like aspect of it with other languages, and
Okay.
doing the research around it
And so, and where did you study?
in Delhi University.
Okay. And so the course is in English? Or
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
okay. And then you write your doctorate in English?
Yes, but the object language is in English, but the there are a couple of languages that I studied. Actually, it was mostly based on my mother tongue, and but the writing was in English,
Okay.
but the theory was on Bengali.
Okay. The signs in two languages. What's the other language?
That's in Malayalam,
Malayalam.
because that's a local
It's
language.
here. And did you write the description?
Not I have friends who does little bit of write-up for me in Malayalam, because I know I have friends who are the speaker of Malayalam.
Of course. And in terms of the describing the project,
Yeah.
that's something that you write yourself?
Me and Shalini, both of us actually did it together.
Wow.
So this is actually this though me and another chef called Prima, she is also part of she like when we conceptualized the project, she also said that she will be part of it, so she is part of the project, but the writing, conceptualizing, those things me and Shalini did together. She is also documenting part of our project, so that we can do more, like we can, right now we are completely consumed in the operation part of it,
Of course.
but we want to do some writing around it, so that Shalini and me, we are doing together.
And would that writing be for, like, would it be another way in for the audience? I guess because we ate the food, so we're the audience.
Yeah.
And would that writing be for us, or would it be for you as part of the process?
It's for the other people mostly, because the part sometimes when you are inside something, you do it, but then when you introspect, you understand the details of that better. So that introspection and writing is going to happen.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to engage with the documentation around it, as well as, because it feels almost like the food that we get is part of the documentation of the archive.
Yeah.
Like I did a residency many years ago with an archive in Australia that was a radio and television archive, and I was trying to sample it into a hip hop album because I thought people would be able to listen to it more and engage in it more. And they were always talking about accessibility to the archive, like having the archive being alive. And maybe you've just trumped me on that, because if you can eat the archive, that's even better.
Yes. So here you eat the archive, but we also want to write about it, that what was the process while constantly it's a 108 days project, so 108 days we are making different food every day. So
Can you tell me about the portraits?
the portraits,
When I asked yesterday who the artist was, they just pointed at your portrait here on the side of the fridge.
So the basically what happened, there was, this is called ABC project, so they are doing various kind, they have something with children, they conduct some workshops and all that. So one of the caricature artist and a portrait artist was there one day. Then he came and ate in our place, and he really liked our food, so he said, will you come, I want to draw you. So I went, and then he drew this, the
Yes.
thing here. And then I asked the team member, like, why don't you go and get it, because then we can put it up, because our project is also a kind of, I didn't do a formalized kitchen, like where I got few formal stuff and do it. I made it in a way that we have some constant stuff, and also we have an option for other people to come in and work with us.
Oh.
So some people have come, they went, some more is coming, you know, that kind of a space. So we thought that, like, whoever is right today, right now, let's get all the caricatures done so that we have a thing in the...
Yeah, okay, sorry. It's okay, I'm fine.
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing the project, and not even just the part that we got to eat, but all the part about, like, spending time with people who are keeping knowledge so that it's there for us. Where I grew up in Australia, we didn't actually have even white rice very often, but as I've gotten older, I'm discovering that there's more rice and more types of rice. And I'm very interested. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that I haven't asked you about the project, or about art, or about the world, or some kind of epiphany or
it's
insight?
just started, like, I want to see what else we can do around this, because like, it's a big like step for me, like, to think whatever I was thinking while I was cooking, actually to take it to another space where I'm engaging more with people. Here also, when we are cooking here, I go to buy fish in the local auction house.
Oh,
So I
is
have
that
learned.
close here?
It's in the next island, so I take a ferry and go to the next island.
Yeah.
And also, like, I have learned the numerals so that I can also take part in the auction.
In
Malayalam.
Malayalam.
So
And so you have to yell out?
yes.
Oh, okay.
So like, these kind of things are important, or the way I interact with my butcher here, because you get very good quality meat here. So
Because it's fresh.
it's fresh, and
Because
you
you pick the chicken and
yeah,
then they kill
absolutely.
it on site.
Yeah. So it's very fresh, and so it's very interesting for me to interact with the rice is a dry ingredient which we have got from all over India. Now all the other ingredients also, because it's a small place, you can actually have a direct contact with the community, and like, you build up relationship. So now I'm here for last 3 months, and I know half of the people in the community who are growing things or selling fish, or who comes from the sea. I know all the boat, like small boat that goes to the sea, and then if I want to buy sea fish, I know that I have to go to the auction house. If I want to buy estuary fish, so there is another in the next island. If you go inland, there it's actually a combination of sea and the
fresh
water.
water. Oh, wow.
So I know that if I want to buy today, I want to cook the freshwater fish, I know which market I have to go to.
Wow.
So like these, like, how you get into the landscape
Yes.
and get into the life of the people.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting part for me, to do the project here.
Yeah. It's fascinating. And makes me realize also that like you were talking about learning the numerals so that you can actually speak with the people in their own language about it. And I haven't even tried to do that, but I should try to do that.
So here, like I'm here for 3 months, and so I know a little bit of Malayalam. Like I have a working knowledge of the language, so that I can communicate. Like even like it's not that I know sentences. I don't know, but I know words, so that I can communicate. Because I have also a lot of people who are working with me. They are Malayalam speakers, and some of them they are monolingual. They only speak Malayalam.
Yeah.
So either I do it with translation, or I have picked up words and all that, and I can.
And what's your biggest hope for spending the time to meet all of the community who is bringing the food to us, and then putting those things together on a plate to force me to mix a certain curry with a certain rice and touch it and feel the temperature? Like, what's your biggest hope for all of that?
Just to build a collective edible archive, where like some days people will food is something that if it talks to you, you cannot forget. So it will be there in people's memory in some ways, some small ways.
Nice. Thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you.
such a lovely conversation. Such a lovely insight.